4 airplanes up with much critically needed supplies, and we're going to get these 4 airplanes headed back south. Guarantee that you guys get insulin on your plane, and we know within a few hours it's going to be the St. Croix. That's going to potentially save someone's life today.
Let's do it.
There was a guy in a pickup driving on this road right here that was handing out water and food, and people were coming out, hey, do you have food? Do you have food? Do you have water? And then that's when it kind of hit that these people haven't had any of this stuff for the last few days, and really highlighted the need for general aviation to start moving supplies in here.
So ironically, this small private airport, Summerlin Key, has become a center for relief efforts because the military and others have taken over the large public airports and basically shut off access to a lot of the relief efforts from the civilian world. So general aviation's had a real impact and kind of going in the nooks and crannies, making a difference here.
Well, using the couple private airports that do exist here right now is early relief and assess the damage, and we've been bringing people in and generators in and ice and water in as well.
General aviation is hard at work serving those impacted by hurricanes. Let's fly by. Right now, the Atlantic hurricane season is in full force. Storm after storm has ravaged areas from the Texas coast to the Caribbean to Florida, and pilots are stepping up, going above and beyond to help those affected by nature's powerful wind and water. This episode highlights those efforts and will show you what you can do to help. Welcome to a special edition of FlyBy, powered by AOPA. I'm your host, Paul Harrop. In times of need, general aviation serves America, and this is one of those times. As September rolled in, so did Hurricane Harvey to the Houston area. A hotbed for aviation, Houston area aviators rallied, bringing supplies in and stranded people out. Many people lost homes and other possessions in the storm, and many airports were destroyed by the winds or terrible flooding. Still, aviation sprung into action. The Commemorative Air Force using their warbirds to ferry in supplies like these cases of drinking water. Right on the heels of Harvey, Irma invited herself into parts of Florida. The storm devastated parts of the Caribbean and the Florida Keys. General aviation was quick to respond.
We're doing it for the people who can't do it for themselves. I mean, it's a small community. I live there. These are my friends and family, and I know they do the same thing for me if I had the need.
Operation Airdrop and AERObridge set up shop on the Sun and Fun grounds at Lakeland Linder Airport in Central Florida. From there, dozens of volunteer pilots, including several AOPA staff, flew supplies wherever they were needed, including down to the Keys. General aviation providing a vital link in this time of crisis. Airports serving as staging and logistics locations. The AOPA business aircraft, a Cessna CJ3, flew insulin and antibiotics down to St. Croix and evacuated stranded U.S. citizens on the flight back. Across the impacted region, general aviation has become a vital resource. Airplanes to move supplies in and people in need out, and small community airports serving as the only access to the rest of the world and the help they're sending. You don't have to be in the affected area to use an airport to help. AOPA has a hangar called the National Aviation Community Center. We use it as a public event space as well as a place for our airplanes to sleep, but it was turned into a multimodal logistics hub. AOPA put the call out for donations in the Frederick, Maryland community where we are based, and the area delivered. Several AOPA employees drove trucks full of supplies down to help victims, showing that even far away airports are an important part of the emergency response. Much of the general aviation response has been coordinated by Operation Airdrop. It's a Facebook group that popped up in response to Hurricane Harvey. This volunteer effort is proving to be a vital link to help. It was all born out of social media and the aviation community's desire to serve others. And as we record this, Operation Airdrop is preparing their third major operation. They are headed to Puerto Rico after Hurricane Maria. They've been loaned the use of a DC-8 to ferry supplies and are mobilizing via the Facebook group to round up volunteers and supplies to send. Puerto Rico was hit hard by Maria, leaving much of the island in shambles. So you've seen this and you want to help. What now? Well, if you're an aircraft owner or have access to an airplane, there's an information sheet for you at AOPA.org. These tips come to us from Patient Airlift Services through their Skyhope Disaster Relief Program. Tips like operate with 2 pilots, check the NOTAMs and TFRs regularly, do not load and drop supplies without coordinating with a relief organization, and do not depend on fuel in the affected area. There are more tips and pointers on this sheet. You can find it right now at AOPA.org. Finally, we say it all the time, but general aviation serves America. It's more than a slogan, it is a reality. When officials are trying to handle the disaster via bureaucracy, pilots have already been in action. When some halfwit wants to close a community airport, this is what they threaten. Our more than 5,000 airports in the United States are a literal lifeline in times of crisis. Right now, it's because of hurricanes. Other times, it could be because of fires or tornadoes or a major earthquake on the west side of Los Angeles. When you take away the lifeline of a community asset like our airports, you cut the ability of our nation's aviators to serve those in need. This is why general aviation is so important. Any questions? I'm Paul Harrop. We'll see you next time on FlyBy, powered by AOPA.